Hi there. Today I want to talk about something really important to me. And it's something that a lot of people are really interested in knowing, I would think. I was. And it's about C-sections. I wanted to talk about my experience having a C-section because in this culture right now, a lot of people would say that if you have a C-section and you're not giving birth naturally, then did you really give birth? And that's something that I also thought. So this is my story. And it started 2 years ago. And I was pregnant, obviously. I was pregnant and I was gonna have a normal birth, natural birth. That was the plan. And one morning I woke up and I don't know what's up. I don't know what was up with me because I woke up. My husband was working because he was working from home. And he was just ending a call. And I woke up and I told him, I'm like, I think I peed myself. Now looking back, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Because why would you think that? Like, it's not something that I was doing. It's not like I was just peeing myself every day. But it was like wet. I was all wet, like from my hips down, and I was like, what the hell is happening? Because you read about birth and going into labor, and everything I heard, everything I read, it's not like in the movies. It's not like in the movies. Your water is not gonna break like that. That's just so abnormal. That doesn't happen, right? That's what I thought. No, that's not how it is. Well, for some people, might be like that. For me, though, I woke up and I was wet, and I was like, what is happening? And I told my husband, I think I peed myself, and he got really confused, and then he probably freaked out, and he's like, no, you did not, we have to go to the hospital. And we did, and it was just awful from there on, because there was nothing going on. I had no contractions. I had no pain. There was nothing. Just that the water broke. I was in 37 weeks, 37 and a few days. And we went to the hospital. Mind you, right now we live in Romania. And in Romania, you're going to the hospital, but since you're the one that's pregnant, it's just you. No one can stay with you in the room at all. There's no way, unless you're a teenager or a kid. So I was alone and I was just waiting. I was just waiting for the miracle to happen, literally for the miracle to happen. And I waited. I had several doctors that came in and looked, and several doctors because the ER shift changed. And I had to wait because my body wasn't ready, basically. So as we were waiting, we realized that it's just not happening. So they got me an IV to get everything started. And the problem was that the heartbeat of my baby was going down with each contraction. When they started, because of the IV, when the contraction started, each contraction would make his heart rate go down, like dangerously down. So naturally, the doctors advised me to get a C-section because there's no other way. So with all the fear in the world, I did it. It was interesting. it was an emergency C-section technically. But the problem was that for some reason we waited a little bit more. At this point, it's like 12 hours. I've been there for 12 hours just pacing around the room and just waiting for something to happen. So after 12 hours, I got into is not the delivery room because it was technically a surgery. So we went into the operating room, and it was an amazing team. The doctors, the nurses, everyone was amazing. And it's impressive because it was a state hospital. So, and if you know anything about the state hospitals in Romania, you probably don't know good stories. So everyone was amazing. I had to get, obviously you have to get the anesthesia in your back, in your spine, which was really scary for me, really scary. We did it and everything went well, all was good. Baby got out, all good. And then I went into the intensive therapy. I think so. Is that how it's called? You know what I mean. Intensive care, okay. And alone, because technically I just had a surgery, so I had to stay there. Like some of the things that no one tells you ever, other than the anesthesiologist that's right there in that moment, he or she is the only one that tells you. When you have that type of anesthesia, you are not allowed to move your head at all. You have to, like, let's say you're on your back and your head is like this way, that's how it has to stay. You don't go like this. If you want, you can, preferably not, but if you do, you have to go like slow motion. You don't lift your head, because if you do that, then I don't know what's up with this anesthesia. Maybe someone can explain in the comments, but basically you get really bad headaches afterwards. Also, there might be some puking involved and nausea. Fortunately, I was good enough that I did lift my head once by mistake. It was kind of like a reflex, basically, but I was like fast. I lifted it a little bit and I was like, nope. And it was good. I didn't have a problem, but I did have someone with me in the intensive care section. She also had a C-section, and she did lift her head, and it was not pretty at all. Like, her recovery was pretty bad in there. Now, the next thing was, the next day you have to stay in the intensive care for 12 hours. Or at least in my case, I had to stay there for 12 hours, mostly because the C-section happened at 7:30 in the evening. The next morning, I was moved to the salon. The other thing in the intensive care section is that you are, in here at least, you're not allowed to have your phone. You're not allowed to have your phone or anything. You're just staring on, like, at the walls, at the ceiling, and you just wait 12 hours, basically. Well, technically you should sleep. Now, you tell me if you can sleep, because I couldn't, and I didn't want to either, because, like, I just had my baby. My baby is not here, because obviously he has to be with the babies, and I have to be here. And I can't talk to anyone. No one... Well, luckily, because I'm crazy, I'm paranoid, I did tell my mom. At that moment, me and my husband were living with my parents, but my mom was the one that was at home, and I told them to, like, call, not if they want to know, but, like, to call to ask how I am, like, a few hours after. the C-section, and they did, and it was an emotional moment because when they called, I was the only one in the ICU, and the nurse there, or doctor, she was amazing. She was really amazing. She answered any question. She was there to like let me know if I need something, to let her know, to tell her she was always there. So when the phone rang, her phone there, I knew that it was my mom and my husband, and I instantly started crying. It was because it's now, it could be me, but I think everyone feels like this when you are in the hospital and you're alone. You just feel alone because you see everyone freaking out about other patients. Everything is so fast paced, and you're just there alone, just waiting to get good, get better. And it was really emotional to like hear my mom, because the nurse instantly put the phone on speaker because she was pretty far away from me, and it was a landline, so she couldn't bring it to me. But she put it on speaker and like told my mom, like, if you want to tell her something, you know, she can hear you. And I could hear her. Anyway, moving on. But it's not pretty. The 12 hours you are in the ICU are pretty hard. Another thing that was really crazy for me was the fact that after the C-section, like really soon, like it was, I think 30-ish minutes after the C-section, I started shaking, uncontrollably shaking. And I've had surgeries before, not as invasive as this one, obviously, but I thought I knew what's up and how everything goes, but no, I was wrong, and I started shaking uncontrollably. I was not having a panic attack. I was a little bit anxious, but not enough to be shaking. So I didn't understand what is happening. So thankfully, the nurse was really nice, and or the doctor, I'm sorry, I don't know who is there, a nurse or a doctor, probably a doctor. So I'm probably insulting by saying nurse because she went to college forever. Anyway, but she was so amazing, and I told her like, hey, I don't know what's happening. I'm like really shaking right now. And basically she explained that because the surgery is so intrusive, you're losing a lot of heat from your body. And basically it was that, but also the fact that after you get out of the surgery, they put a big ice pack and also a big sand pack on your abdomen to help get the uterus to contract and get back to its normal size. So obviously you also have an ice pack on your abdomen, like added to the fact that you already lost a lot of temperature, a lot of temperature, heat. So she told me that this is just normal, like that is normal. It does happen for you to start shaking because you again lost temperature, warm, heat. And they put this tube, like really big tube, like this big tube right here under my blanket, and it was just coming with heat. And it was like, I swear to God, that was the best thing I've ever felt in my life. I was just covered with a lot of blankets and just this this tube thing that was under the blankets, and just heat coming everywhere under the blanket. It was amazing, beautiful. Anyway, get out of the that's a long video. I get out of the ICU. I get to the salon, and I am advised to walk, to get up from the bed and just walk. I do have to say, when it comes to empathy and stuff like this, people in the hospital, nurses, and not doctors are better, which is weird, but nurses in the hospital have a little bit less empathy. So no one really helped me to get up. I was just told at some point today, get up and walk. So I did, and it's awful. The pain was awful. Literally, I can't think of a worse pain, and I have PCOS. So if anyone knows, with PCOS you get really bad cramps, really bad, like you're in fetal position in bed just crying because you're feeling awful. So, and still that the walking the first time after a C-section was awful. Then it was good. I was all good. The doctor that I had, the that did the C-section, she was amazing. She came in to make sure that I'm good. She gave me her phone number, her personal phone number. So if I have any questions or anything, to text her or call her, and I did, and she answered every single time, no problem. So we stayed in the hospital, me and my baby stayed in the hospital for 3 days after the C-section. Well, basically today, let's say I had the C-section, and then starting tomorrow, 3 more days in the hospital. So technically in total 4 days I was in the hospital. And it was nice, like it wasn't nice in the hospital, but the doctors, the nurses, everyone was pretty good, really answering questions every hour, like any hour. It just didn't matter. They helped with anything you needed. Not that I was really needy, but every time I would ask something, if I would ask something, they were there, they were answering. Plus you obviously every morning have to go to, like, because you have like a big band-aid basically type of thing, and you have to go for them to change it and clean and change and all that. And they were really amazing, honestly. But it's obviously really, I think that the worst thing for me being in the hospital was being alone, because I don't know if it's me. I feel like when you're in the hospital, you just feel like it's just you. It's just you. That's it. And obviously I did have my phone back, but it's not the same. Plus the problem with me was the fact that I did not want the C-section. Obviously it had to be done, but because I didn't want a C-section, I didn't know much about it. I didn't know how it's gonna be, how it was gonna feel afterwards. I know the next day, so not the first day, the second day, basically the second day after the C-section, we had to go, they would come and get a bunch of girls and women, and go to get an x-ray to your lungs, probably to see if there's any air bubbles, any weird stuff happening. And the hospital was huge. Okay, I don't know if it was the fact that I just had a C-section or not, but that hospital was huge. And we had to walk. And ma'am, it's like I'm just starting to learn how to walk again, basically. I'm in so much pain. And let me explain how much in pain I was. When we walked on our way there, on our way to get the x-ray, I was in so much pain that I got like blurred vision. I was gonna faint. And I told the nurse, like, I'm not feeling well, I have to sit down, which I did. She brought me some water and I was feeling better. But that happened twice on our way to get the x-ray. Like twice. It was bad. But obviously you get better. it will get better. It was crazy because I think after the third day, it was such a huge difference between the second day and the third day. The pain has gone down, I would say 60-70%. There was a huge improvement. So there's that. But see, the interesting part kind of starts with going home, because once you're home, obviously you are not allowed to lift anything. Sorry for the ambulance. You're not allowed to lift anything. You're not allowed to do any physical activity that could be exhausting, anything that requires effort should not happen. And I was a princess, I have to say. My husband was not, like, he wasn't letting me not even pour my own water. Well, we have this big 5-liter, I'll put on the screen how much that means in ounces or gallons, but 5 liters of water, and he wouldn't let me lift it to get some water. He would do it for me, which was really amazing. But also it's making the recovery harder. But what I want to say is I did not make any physical effort because I was not allowed to, not by the doctor, by my husband or my mom. So I was a princess. And even though I was a princess and I didn't do anything basically other than taking care of our baby, obviously, but that was not any physical effort. You know, he's a baby, he's a newborn. So the walking was encouraged, was not there was no, I don't know, you're allowed to walk this much or for this long. Obviously, when you feel like you're exhausted or like you feel tired, yes, obviously stop. But there was no limit. I have to say, I have never felt more exhausted in my life. I think that after the C-section, I learned what it means to be exhausted, like the actual word exhausted. I would fall asleep at any moment. Like, it just randomly would be like, because obviously I would lay in bed a lot because I was also next to the baby, because we had the crib right next to our bed. But I was there because I was taking care of the baby, but also because I wasn't feeling that hot, obviously. And what am I gonna do? I'm not allowed to do anything by these two people. So I would lay in bed and I would just randomly fall asleep, like no joke. Or I would get our baby to go to sleep in the evening, and I would fall asleep at 8 p.m., which for me is crazy because I've always been a night owl. So that really impacted me. It was really, I'm not joking when I'm saying that I actually learned what it means to be exhausted in that period of time. It was an exhaustion that I've never met before or after so far. The other thing was, for me, it was really interesting. Anything like getting up from the chair, like up from the chair or the couch or bed or whatever. It was, in walking, it was it sounds really weird, but I could feel my heart beating. It's, you know, when you go like, I don't know, 10 flights of stairs and you're like, and your heart is beating fast and you feel like your heart is tired. That's how I was feeling just getting up from the couch or from the chair. And it was crazy because I'm not someone that works out, but I am someone that walks a lot. I love walking. And we live in Bucharest, which is the capital, which is full of subways and buses and all that. And Most of the time, if I don't have to go somewhere really far, and it will obviously really far is subjective, but I will try to walk as much as I can to places and not take the subway or something. So for me, it was really interesting to feel exhausted from like getting up. But the cool thing started when I think it was, I don't remember exactly, but I do think it was after I got the thread thing removed. So it wasn't the one that absorbs, like the when they saw the the surgery, it wasn't the thread. They didn't use the one that it gets absorbed because it could get absorbed faster than you heal. So obviously that will be a huge problem. So they use normal thread. After a week after I had the C-section, I had to go and get it out, and I did. And I had I don't know if it was that day or the next day, we had the crib. We had two cribs, one that was in the bedroom with us and one that was in the living room. So when the baby would take naps, he would take a nap in the living room. He would be there. We could see him. We could check him. So the problem was that obviously the crib would come to like a little bit higher than your hips, let's say, kind of like that. So one day I reached to get our baby, to get him from the crib, and it was really weird because I just felt that I had this sensation in my, and where the surgery is, and on the left side, this feeling of warmth, you know, and like wet. But I was like, you know, you do get feelings that are weird because your nerves there are just sleeping, if not dead. So I didn't think much of it in that moment, but then it got worse, and I checked with my hand and it was a little bit wet. So I had to lean to get the baby, and then I leaned like 90 degrees, and I think that was the problem. And then I got up with the baby, which he wasn't crazy heavy at all, but it was weight, an extra weight, and the way I got up was not smart. So my surgery opened just a little bit, like this much, little bit, which was bad. I wasn't bleeding or anything, but it was not fun. I was in pain. I talked to the doctor. The doctor was like, you know, it's fine. Just continue to put, like, I was constantly disinfecting. I think 3 times a day, like disinfecting and putting this powder that helps like close down and dry the surgery. So I did that, and it was good. It closed, all was good. It did take a few days for it to close again, and it was not fun. Obviously, if I wasn't allowed to do anything before that, after that, I wasn't allowed to do anything. Also, I didn't really want to do anything. It was really scary for me in that moment because I was like, I know I've heard about women that have a C-section and then they go to, I don't know, just harvest some fruits and vegetables from the yard, you know, and I'm just here that would just, I'm not doing anything. I just got my baby from his crib and boom, my surgery opened. And I was like, how is this possible? It's crazy. So that was not fun. And it was really scary to the point where I didn't want to go and lift my baby. I would want to hold my baby, obviously, and be with him. So I was like a handicapped person, and this is not a dig or anything. I was literally like, I got in the mindset of a handicapped person, and I would ask my mom or my husband to bring my baby, to the point where if he would, let's say I would be alone in the living room and he wakes up, I would go next to him, but I would not get him up. Like, I would text my husband because he would work in somewhere out in another room, and I would text him to come and pick our baby up and give me the baby, which is crazy, but I obviously didn't want that to happen again. But guess what? It did happen again. How? Actually, no one knows. Actually, I have no idea. I didn't do anything. Literally did not do anything. It was not fun. It was not fun. It was really scary. There are more details to that, but I just don't want to be really graphic about it. And I also don't want to expose some doctors that shouldn't be doctors. I have to say, my pregnancy and the birth of my baby were really eye-opening for me. It really showed me doctors. I feel like we all have this idea of doctors being superhumans, and just you go to them and you're like, oh my god, I have this headache and I'm nauseous, I don't know what's happening, and they're like, you have this, and boom, they're right, boom, treatment, boom, you're good. And I think the pregnancy and the C-section made me realize that they're also humans and mistakes can happen. And it was not fun, but it was really eye-opening. I know it doesn't really make sense what I'm saying right now. Those stories will probably be in a different video because this is getting pretty long. But I do want to say, in conclusion, I want to say that having a C-section, a lot of people think having a C-section is the easy way out, and it's not. It's actually not. It so happened that my cousin, my girl cousin, who I'm really close to, she's like my sister, it just happened for us to be pregnant at the same time. She gave birth 2 months before I did, and she had the natural birth. And obviously we were talking and texting and constantly checking up on each other, and I didn't say anything, honestly, but like, I didn't say, oh, yours is like was easier or harder. I honestly still thought that natural birth was harder. I still kind of do. I think it just depends what type of pain and experience you want. You see, because it could happen. I've seen girls that had a C-section that were good. Like, next day they had no problem. I've seen them. I've seen them commenting on someone else's videos. Like, my experience is not everyone's experience, and I know that. I just want to say that there is this misconception that C-section is the easy way out, and it's not. The reason I brought up my cousin is because she knew everything that I was going through as I was going through that. She did say that she thought that I had a worse experience giving birth than she did, and that she got back on her feet a lot faster than I did, and it is true. To be fair, again, for me, it happened for my C-section to open twice. So obviously the recovery will take even longer, but I want to say that you don't have to go and be crazy in the gym or like be careless for your surgery to open. You can just it there's a lot of factors that could contribute to that. And for me, what I think it was mostly is that in the part where the surgery opened, there was a lot of thread, like one next to each other. So my skin didn't have a lot of space to like glue back together, like the up and the down, because it was thread. So I think it just didn't get to fully heal because there was so much thread there. But it's not easy having a C-section. It's not crazy hard either. It depends. It depends on the doctors. It depends on your body, how your body is handling it, and how easy can you recover from it. I can say that I recovered pretty easily. I think that in less than 6 months, no, I think like 4 months, it's like I didn't even have a C-section. But the first few weeks after the C-section are really hard. You're really exhausted because you not only have the trauma of like your body just figured out, oh wait, we don't have a baby anymore in the uterus, so we have to get back to how we used to be before the uterus, the hormones and all of that. So it's not only that, but it's also a huge physical trauma that you put your body through, which is obviously the surgery. And that's not easy on your body. It's really exhausting. I want to mention something that I think it's really important. If you ever think of having a C-section, I want you to know, again, I know a lot of moms will give you stories that are really, either really crazy, oh my God, it was the best thing ever, or the other ones that are gonna tell you, oh my God, please be careful with this and this and this. Oh my God, it could go this way. It could go this way. Everything could go bad. Like, I'm not trying to be either. I just want to kind of say my experience, which was not crazy bad. Honestly, it wasn't crazy bad at all. It just happened, for the C-section to open twice. But again, it sounds like I'm making it less than it was. It's not. It was just, it opened. There was not even blood, okay? It wasn't that bad. It was bad because obviously it took longer to recover, and obviously you have to be even more careful than you were before. But I want people to be educated about this, because it's not an easy decision to have a C-section, and it's not an easy experience. Regardless if you had a good experience or not, it's not easy. It's not like you have the C-section today and tomorrow you're just going to, like, I don't know, a concert, or like you're staying up all night and whatever. It's not like that. It's hard. It's hard on your body. It's a huge trauma on your body, and it takes some time to recover. I also want to say that a lot of people might not know. See, I am really paranoid about my health, and well, ish. But I'm really paranoid about stuff. I want to know everything, a little bit of a control freak. So when I was doing my research, I found about like natural birth and C-section. I found out that in the first 6 months after a C-section, you are in a higher risk of having blood clots. And I want this to be more known. It could happen, and you don't have to have a heart problem. You don't have to have a blood problem. You can be the healthiest person, or you can be the least healthy person. it doesn't matter. It could happen. It didn't happen to me, fortunately, but it could happen, and I know someone that did go through that, and that's where her story ended. And I just want people to know that. I want that to be something you're aware of and you take into consideration. And also, unlike me, when you get out of the hospital and they give you this prescription with this medicine that you have to take, and you look it up and you see, oh, it's for like, it's blood thinners. Why would I get blood thinners? I'm good. My heart is fine. Why would I get it? Get it. I was lucky. Lucky is an understatement, because I've never had a crazy healthy lifestyle. Again, I'm a night owl. I have my vices. And I was really lucky that nothing happened to me, especially since I didn't take the pills. But it can happen. And you should be aware of that, take that into consideration, and take the pills or the injections, whatever they give you. After you get out of the hospital, if they tell you take 5,000 injections so you will be fine, take them. Well, obviously, if they say 5,000 injections, maybe you should double check with another doctor, but you understand. Well, this was my experience, and this was a really real video, I think. I want to thank you for being here. If you stayed until now, thank you. I hope I gave you the information that you were interested in. If you have any questions about my experience, I'm an open book, so you can leave a comment and I will reply. I will probably, if there are a lot of people that are interested, I would probably make another video and answer the questions. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one.